Hello everybody and welcome back to our StarCraft Underground second paid tournament. My name is Crather, and in today's matchup we have Firetip as our white-gray Protoss player. And in the top right, WolFix as our yellow Terran. This first match going to be taking place on match point, as always, as is tradition, as will every first match of this entire tournament. And even though I describe it every single time, here is a brief overview. I'm not going to go into all the bases like I do every single time. It gets a little old, honestly, after doing it every single video forever and all of eternity. So instead of that, we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. This match is going to be coming in at round 2. Firetip actually coming off a victory here in round 1. He is one of 4 players to have only played in round 1 of the winner's bracket, and only obviously one of 2 players who have advanced on to round 2. So Firetip already has a victory under their belt coming into this round 2 match. And I do not get to cast many TVPs very often, so I'm definitely excited to see what kind of build orders these players choose to go with, and what strategies they choose to adapt. Got a gateway here, just to the north side of the mineral patch there. And I don't know a whole lot about Protoss, but that does feel a little odd to me that it's like up here away from everything. I don't know. You guys let me know if that's a normal thing to do. This I've seen a lot here, though. This is expected. I like this play. The cybernetics core used to block the backside of this mineral line. This is mainly a defensive tactic used to keep vultures from coming in back behind here and just being able to just kite around these mineral patches. So the cybernetics core are going to be blocking them off, so if the vultures do try to run in here, they're going to get trapped in there. No way to go. They're going to get shot down pretty quickly. Let's take a look at WolFix's base. So far we've got a supply depot here, right to the south side of the command center. And it looks like WolFix is going to be creating a small wall of sorts here, making it kind of difficult to get access to the SCVs. They're going to have to funnel in through here. I'm curious where he's going to go with this. And what is this? We've got a pylon going down here. Let's take a look at the map here real quick. So this base on the ground is pretty far away from the entry ramp here into WolFix's base. They have to come all the way down here. However, in the air, we're right there. So I'm really curious to see what Firetip's plan is here, and it looks like we're not going to have to wait long to find out. We've got the robotics facility going to be thrown down here. So we may end up seeing an attempt at a possible Reaver drop here, if I had to guess, into the SCVs. And if I had to take a guess at what's going on here, I'm going to say that this is probably just to make it difficult for Zealot pathing. You guys let me know what you think about that. Again, though, here we see another good use of the buildings right there. Using that supply depot to block the mineral line, the same way the cybernetics core was done here in Firetip's base. And it looks like WolFix is going to be able to get the SCV into the main here, gets a good scout off, sees we have a couple Dragoons. Other than that, WolFix not finding anything. And at this point, he's got to be wondering where the tech is at, because it's not in the main base. So, looks like WolFix is going to go ahead and try to scout out with this Marine right here. Going to be coming up here to check this. Looks like WolFix is going to be coming up here to check this mineral patch with the Marine. Good call on his part there. Yes, verifies it. There's the tech. Going to be hiding out here. And as we can see the shuttle already being made here. I would expect to see the Reaver coming up next. But now, WolFix wise to the plan of Firetip. Looks like we have WolFix expanding here. We've got Dragoon attack range being researched right now for Firetip. CC coming down here for WolFix. And it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a move out here early on. WolFix is pretty good at getting these tanks out pretty early for most Terran players that I see. So we've got 2 tanks already close to the 5-minute mark. And that's just good macro on his part. 2 tanks already in production here. This is going to get cleaned up. I don't even know if the Reaper's actually going to make it out of here or not. The shuttle definitely going to get shot down, though. So, good scouting right there from WolFix. Able to spot there was now no tech in the base. Wised up to the cheese play, more or less, there, if you will. Able to scout that out pretty quickly. So WolFix able to deny the Reaper drop. I suspect that's what that was going to be. We saw the Reaper in production. The shuttle was already done. It was very likely going to be a Reaper drop here into the main there, into the SCV line. And this is a lot of... this is a good Terran army right here. Looks like Firetip very hesitant to push these Dragoons in there against that. Meanwhile, for WolFix, we have Siege mode being researched. Vulture on the way. And for Firetip's going to be taking their natural. Another Nexus down. More pylons in the main. And looks like we're going to be floating in eBay somewhere. Curious to see what that's about. So now that we've lost the robotics bay, or the robotics facility, that's going to have to get put back down here in the main for Firetip. All in all, not a huge loss there for Firetip. Firetip's eco hasn't really taken a hit or anything like that. Just kind of wasted a little bit of minerals putting these buildings down and lost 1 shuttle. But really no harm done there. Just kind of denied the Reaver drop. It looks like we're going to be floating this eBay here just to keep map vision. You can see on the minimap just how big of a vision that eBay has. Grants WolFix here. Big portion of the map revealed right there just by having that thing floating over there. Doing a little bit of mine laying here with the Vulture. Just daring these Dragoons to walk up on them. Oh, 1 goon goes down to a mine. The other one's able to target down the other mines, but Firetip's starting to build a pretty healthy amount of goons here. We've got 3 factories right now being constructed at an armory and academy right now for WolFix, though. WolFix starting to pull ahead a little bit in the worker count now. 47 to Firetip's 39. Both players on 2 bases currently. So no huge eco advantage right now. It looks like these goons are going to be moving out here pretty soon. Okay, interesting placement right here for these pylons. Looks like we have an attempt at kind of what I would consider a half wall for Firetip here. It just kind of makes it harder for Terran units to move through here. They can't all kind of flood in at once. And another pylon going down there too, making that even more difficult. The tanks especially will have to come through here like 1 at a time. So WolFix dropping a couple mines right there while moving the army across the battlefield. It's a good idea with these vultures while we're moving across like that. Kind of keeps you some map vision, helps with map awareness later on in the game. So after this vulture drops down, still got some use out of it. And even if this army does go down, which it looks like it probably will, if Firetip pushes into the siege tank line. But WolFix able to get some vultures back up here and get in the face of these goons, though. And all of a sudden, this is looking pretty powerful for WolFix now. I think if Firetip would have just walked those goons right into the siege tanks there, probably could have dealt with that before these vultures got here. But now it's getting bad. Now we've got vultures all the way down in here into the main. Not looking good for Firetip right now. All those goons pretty much lost. We've only got 2 hanging out up here. No army, so to speak. Okay, so 4 goons come out all at once here. This is definitely manageable. The cybernetics core in the back right there. And look at this. A nice wall right here from Firetip. So the vulture's not even able to get through here at all. There's really only one path for them. And that's down through this little gateway right here. So because of the interesting building design right here by Firetip, good job right there with the base layout. He was able to stop the vultures from harassing too much, and when those 4 goons came out, able to deny that. However, it looks like the natural here is going to go down. Meanwhile, WolFix building more supply depots. We've got ground weapons being researched right now. The tank's currently on 1-1. And I think at this point, we've probably switched completely out of bio, and we're going to go straight into mech. So, likely won't see any ground weapon upgrades coming on or anything like that. It's going to be mainly vehicle upgrades is what I meant to say. Firetip going to be looking to expand during this chaos. That's crazy to me. Got an observer on the battlefield. So these mines are going to be scouted out. But it is making it quite difficult for Firetip to move an army through here, when every single time they move up, they are running into minefields left and right. And as you can see, WolFix not going to stop pumping them out. He's got 4 more vultures being queued up right now. More vultures running across the battlefield. Doing a good job of scouting out these extra mineral lines around the map, just to make sure that the Protoss player isn't trying to slip out anywhere. Get a little cheeky nexus going on. And now WolFix expanding down to a 3rd base. A lot of pressure right now from the Terran player. Doing a good job. And there you have it. GG coming in from Firetip. And what I don't think could have not been the end right there. I really think if the goons would have moved up a little bit further there, Firetip may have held off that siege tank wave, at least for a small amount of time. Once the vultures showed up, though, that was a little bit too crazy. Good game all in all, though. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket. This matchup going to be coming in at round 2 and the top. This is the second to last match in the winner's bracket of round 2 with Firetip versus WolFix. Winner of this one going to be going on to face Rob in round 3. And the loser of this one going to be dropping down into the very bottom bracket, and the loser's round 2. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the next one. All right, let's go ahead and get into match number 2 here. And here in the top right, Firetip as our white-gray Protoss, whatever color that is. And here in the bottom left, WolFix as our brown Terran in this matchup. This second match going to be taking place on Radon. That's it, not Radon. It's Radon, 100%. This is a 4-player map with spawn locations in each corner. A natural just down the ramp outside the main. And a 3rd just beyond that. With 4ths out here in the middle. Interesting on the 4th base locations on this particular map, only accessible by 1 ramp, which is kind of unique, honestly. On a lot of these maps, the 4th is normally accessible from 2 ramps coming from both locations, but not on this one. So, kind of an interesting feature, I think, to point out on this particular map. This map also features a somewhat large open battlefield right here in the middle, but there are a little bit of obstacles here and there. We've got these little dudes right here. Can mess with pathing, but overall, good map for Zerg players, so they can get good surrounds on people out here in this open battlefield. But no Zerg today. TVP. Let's get into it. Down here in the bottom left, looks like we have WolFix throwing down a Rax. Good Rax location for this. This is going to allow him to expand these racks. A couple this way, and even a lot more this way. Come to think of it, let's see. Based off where Based off where the natural is located off here, we're likely going to see him build more racks out this way, and I would guess put some missile turrets up here if needed. Supply depots across the bottom down here. So we'll likely see a lot of the production buildings here and down through here, if I had to just guess. WolFix is very particular about building placement. If you are a Terran player and you want to know how to go about this, take notes, because WolFix does a really good job of base layout here. Here we have Firetip. Let's take a look at what he's got going on. So, pylon on the back line of the mineral field. Again, going to be blocking the vultures. I'm getting on the back side of this once again. This time choosing to block it on the bottom side, which I think is a little... This is a better idea, I think, than last time. Last time the cybernetic square was put... Let's see. No. It would have been on the correct side, yes. It makes more sense to me to place the building blocking these mineral patches closer to where the enemy is going to be coming in through. So we wouldn't want to really put this pylon up here to block this, because then whatever could come in here and still run back here and even harass a little bit. Makes more sense to just stop them right here in the beginning. Goon out here already going to be trying to deny this SCV scout. No need to put the cybernetic square back here. I don't think it would fit right here if I had to guess. I'm not a Protoss player, so I don't really know. I think they're like 3 tiles wide or something to that effect. However you say that. Tiles, squares. Looks like WolFix is going to be going into a expansion here. Right around the 4-minute mark, so not bad timing. I'm going to be keeping an eye on WolFix's siege tank timing. It normally comes around 5 minutes. And again, we have Firetip going for something a little unusual here. Putting down double gates right here in the middle of the battlefield. Interesting play here from Firetip. I wonder how long it's going to take WolFix to scout this out. He's got a vulture out and about already. We've got goons going to be trying to come down in here into the natural, but a good bunker placement going to be denying that. They're not going to be able to move in here just yet. And it looks like WolFix just checking these mineral patches with the vulture. So it looks like he started here and then working his way counterclockwise around the map, just checking for cheese. Which, interesting enough, I think Firetip may have been aware of that, because Firetip's Reaver play got picked up early in round 1, and so rather than trying to hide that on a mineral field, Firetip chose to just put it right in the middle of the battlefield. And somehow or another, it worked out. Because I don't think this is yet to be scouted by WolFix. It has not. So, pretty crazy play on Firetip's part. This eventually is going to get spotted, and it may even be right now. There it is. So WolFix is like, okay, here we go. 2 more double gateways out here in the middle. Meanwhile, this Dragoon push actually turning into a little bit of a nasty push here, but oh my gosh! Big mines come out right there and take care of it. That was getting a little bit hairy. But the mines making quick work of the goons right there. My goodness. And now WolFix planting more mines outside of these gateways. These goons are going to eat some shrapnel whenever they warp in. Let's see what happens. Doesn't look like it hasn't moved yet. Okay, a little bit of some chatting going on back and forth there. And this poor goon, as soon as this guy moves, that's going to be it. Game over. So 1 gets dropped, but that guy, he made it. He did it. And 1 gets away safely. I think if this one moves back here, he's going to be all right, too. So we've got siege tank in construction right now. Robotics facility coming down for Firetip. That would look to be expanding to a natural here pretty soon. It does look like we might see the Nexus going down. There we have it. Nexus down at the natural for Firetip. And here we have WolFix floating some buildings around again. Looks like we're going to be done with bio. Going to go into mech again. We see the armory being constructed right now with the academy and another factory. So the barracks lifted off, got out of the way. We did get the missile turret there like I thought. Got one down here. I don't think WolFix is too worried about any airplay at this point. We don't see any missile turrets up here. So instead, it looks like we're going to fly the eBay down, I would have to guess, probably in the center of the battlefield right here, just to keep map vision there. And I'm wondering what this probe's up to right now. Firetip already threw the Nexus down here in the natural. I'm wondering if we're going to see another pylon right here, maybe an attempt to hide tech once again. Right now, WolFix has just a little bit of an advantage in eco, only due to the fact that he's got about 15 more workers right now than what we see from Firetip. 3147. A little bit of a population lead, but again, that's mainly due to the worker count. And it looks like we're just going to sit back and power up right now. We've got ground vehicle weapons being researched right now for WolFix. Scan goes down into the main here. We finally lose vision right here of the gateways. Got a couple of zealots hanging out, but all in all, not a whole lot to be worried about. Looks like we are going to park the eBay right there. Just kind of helps keep an eye on the SCVs that are working down here. Gives you an early warning. And this observer should get seen by this missile turret and discovered here if it gets any closer to than that. Firetip doing a good job, though, navigating it around this bunker. And that, wow, that is not seen by WolFix. Very, very good micro right there from Firetip on that observer. I cannot believe that that is not seen by either of those missile turrets. Wow. So that's going to give Firetip a lot of good information right now. He's going to be able to see all the Terran units that are going to be coming down this ramp out of the main and into the natural right here. And oh my gosh, Firetip throws down a scan right there out of nowhere. He had to have just guessed that. I don't know how he would know. But somehow he did. Found the observer there and was able to knock it out with some Goliaths. Crazy. That's crazy. WolFix's army looking pretty scary right now. And I would look to see Firetip maybe throw some photon cannons down here, possibly, just to try to help out the goon number. Not a whole lot of goons really here to stop this army. Not seeing a whole lot from Firetip just yet. We've got 4 zealots in the shuttle right now. And here we go. Vulture's going to be out in front of the siege tanks here. Going to be taking a lot of hits from the goons. Meanwhile, the siege tanks, 3 of them had sieged up, taking a lot of good shots here. We're going to be trying to bait the goons back into siege tank range, and they do fall for it. They come right in, take some heavy fire from WolFix. Good micro right there from WolFix, getting the vultures up into the face of the goons, letting the vultures tank those hits. Only 1 siege tank got damage from all of that. And now, WolFix looking like he's in pretty good shape here. 6 gateways down inside the main for Firetip, but that's going to be it. GG comes out from Firetip. After losing the Dragoon army out there, that was it. There was no Protoss army left after that. Good game for both players there. In the end, though, it looks like it is going to be WolFix moving on to round 3 here, where he is going to face off against Erob. Meanwhile, Firetip going to be dropping down into the loser bracket of round 2, where he can have a chance of working his way back up, though. And not all is lost yet. We'll have to see how it goes. But thank you guys all so much for watching this one. If you're interested to see more from this tournament, check out the next video. Or if you're interested to take part in a tournament or just want to become a member of the StarCraft Underground community, join us in our Discord. Links to be in the description. Until then, take it easy.